What is up, everyone? It is Josh here for an emergency episode of No Buts About It. Um, Brandon Aiyuk finally has gotten extended or has agreed to an extension. Not really sure which side was holding up the issue, but we officially now know that Brandon Aiyuk has agreed to a 4-year, $120 million contract with $76 million guaranteed, according to Adam Schefter. Now, this deal is big for a couple reasons. A, it takes or puts an end to the largest narrative of the NFL offseason, the whole will they, won't they relationship that the San Francisco 49ers had with Brandon Aiyuk. Will they trade him? Won't they trade him? Will they extend him? Will they not? It also is the final kind of puzzle piece. And I know I've said a few times the final domino would be CeeDee Lamb, but now there is officially no one else that can be argued in Jamar Chase's caliber of youth and athleticism that the Bengals can be waiting on, and they know what that final contract looks like. $30 million a year on average is a good deal for a wide receiver right now. That's where Justin Jefferson, that's where Amon-Ra St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, that's about where a lot of these guys are. That seems like a reasonable deal for Brandon Aiyuk. Obviously, the San Francisco 49ers are in a win now situation where they are trying to figure out if they can win a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy at quarterback. They still have Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, but they aren't going to have those guys around forever. And they have deemed that Brandon Aiyuk is a necessary component to their chances of winning a Super Bowl. And this has been an up and down kind of rocky relationship. I mean, if you think about it, going back to before the draft, we've been talking about this. Will Brandon Aiyuk get traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers? Will he get traded to the New England Patriots? Will he get traded to the Cleveland Browns? It was rumored that the New England Patriots were willing to pay him like $34 million or something ridiculous like that. Make him higher paid than Justin Jefferson. $34 million a year, not 34 on one contract. But he didn't want to go there. It was rumored that he was choosing between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots. Not the New England Patriots, the San Francisco 49ers. Do we know if that was true? Maybe that'll come out eventually, but at this time, no, we don't. I'm sure the Pittsburgh Steelers, as Chus and I talked about a little bit earlier today, would like to have someone like Brandon Aiyuk to kind of complement George Pickens, but apparently they couldn't get that deal done. This is a very interesting deal. Lots of highs, lots of lows. The draft kind of, in my opinion, was a climax point where Ricky Purcell got drafted in the first round, and it was like, okay, maybe now Brandon Aiyuk is going to get traded. Maybe now they have decided to move on from him. But then Ricky Purcell got injured in practice. So did that affect things? There were so many like chapters to this story that happened, and it kind of seems like it was overblown, over dramatic for it to just end up right where it started, right? I mean, where we started was he's definitely going to get traded. He's definitely gone. Brandon Aiyuk hates the San Francisco 49ers. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan may have made him mad at some point. Something's going on. There's drama. He was posting on X. He was posting on Instagram. And now we're just back where we started. We're right. We didn't have to go through all this. And this, as a Bengals fan, is kind of what I'm hoping the Jamar Chase situation doesn't become. Because we know Jamar Chase wants to stay in Cincinnati. We know long-term that's where he wants to end up. And I'm hoping that what we've seen with the Brandon Aiyuk situation doesn't become what we end up seeing with the Jamar Chase situation. I'm going to stay logged in here to X so we can kind of see. Sometimes they post some deeper updates to give us a better idea of the contract and stuff like that. But and Chuss is in a fantasy draft right now, but he's also supposed to be texting me updates if he sees them. But Brandon Aiyuk, do we think this is a good deal? And someone keeps joining and leaving, by the way. And I want to talk to that person. I want to know what they think. But Brandon Aiyuk, great route runner, exciting player, definitely someone that Brock Purdy wants to have. But he also has created a lot of drama. So this is interesting. This deal has been on the table since August 10th, per league sources. His hold-in did not alter any part of his new 4-year, $120 million extension. He took the same deal that had been there for 3 weeks. So this is not a new offer. This was not something that was made today. This has been sitting there for a while. Crazy. And see, now we're getting more details. Ian Rappaport says Brandon Aiyuk will receive $47 million of that contract, so over a third of that contract between now and April 1st of 2025. So it's a front-loaded deal. Definitely something that would favor the 49ers, as they also are likely going to look to extend Brock Purdy and possibly have a Christian McCaffrey extension coming up. Deebo Samuel, you've got a ton of guys that you're looking to extend, and they're still looking to extend Trent Williams, who is a future Hall of Fame offensive tackle. And, you know, like we've talked about, the 49ers have a ton of weapons, but Trent Williams, he affects that team. If he is not on the field, that is an issue. That is going to be the next big contract that the 49ers are looking towards. So let's stay keyed in here, see what else we've got. So, and Adam Schefter here points out all the deals we've seen this offseason with Brandon Aiyuk, 4 years, $120 million. CeeDee Lamb, 4 years, $136 million. Justin Jefferson, 4 years, $140 million. DJ Moore, 4 years, $110 million. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4 years, $120.01 million. So Amon-Ra and Brandon Aiyuk are now, at least contract-wise, considered the same caliber of player, same value to their team, same skill set. And I think it's debatable, but I think it's a fair comparison. I think paying Brandon Aiyuk more than Justin Jefferson would have been a huge overpay and a mistake by the New England Patriots. Let me know what you think here down in the comments here. I'm going to open these up so that you guys can comment, and we'll talk about this. I want to hear what you guys have to say. But like I said, we're just going to keep reading through as we find more information. I want to hear what you have to say about the Brandon Aiyuk contract. Once again, we're talking about a 4-year, $120 million extension for Brandon Aiyuk that was just announced, with over half of that is being guaranteed as well. Very good deal for Brandon Aiyuk. And it is also a very good idea of what Jamar Chase will be getting paid. I'm going to guess Jamar Chase is going to come in at around $35.1 million now. So here we go. We'll see. We'll see what we got. I mean, just yesterday or today, maybe even, John Lynch said at some point you've got to play, and people were spinning that to say at some point you've got to pay. Adam Schefter says this deal has been on the table for 3 weeks. Nothing has changed. This hold-in, he's been holding in for 3 weeks, or holding out for 3 weeks. And he could have been practicing that whole time. These fines, though, Chuss brought these up today. I forget how much he said the amount was going to be, but Brandon Aiyuk was starting to get fined per day missed. So that could also have been a major contributing factor to why he wanted to get this deal done now. He knew that the 49ers weren't going to budge. Maybe he didn't really have an offer from the Pittsburgh Steelers or the Cleveland Browns, or maybe they retracted their offers. So he was kind of saying, hey, look, I got it. We'll just take care of it now. 4 years, $30 million is a great deal for me. Puts me right up there in top 5, top 10 at least, highest paid wide receivers in the NFL. And it's just, I'm going to keep going back to Jamar Chase because now this has shifted Jamar Chase to being the next storyline. He is the next guy who needs to get paid, even though he has 2 years left on his contract. All the guys around him who are of that same caliber, who have been in the league for the same amount of time, who are the same age, have all gotten paid now. And you know what those contracts are going to look like. Do they front load his contract as well? That's what it looks like they did with Brandon Aiyuk, so getting over a third of it in the next year. Is this an overpay for Brandon Aiyuk? Are we going to see the wide receiver market crash like we kind of have seen the safety market crash following some high contract deals? The wide receiver market has just been exponentially growing at an insane pace. And do we think that that is sustainable? I don't know. I don't know yet. We will see. But this is a huge, huge contract. And of course, it happened right after we finished our episode or recording. It would have been nice if it had happened during. I'm just keeping an eye on the X, find out what other major deals are coming through here, or excuse me, major contract news is coming through. But yeah, comment below. Let me know what you think about this deal. Is this a good move? Brandon Aiyuk, $30 million average per year, but it's a heavily front-loaded contract. What did we say? $47 million of it between now and April 1st of next year. So over a third of this deal will be coming to him in the next year. $47 million, and 76 million of that is guaranteed. So about half of his guaranteed money will be coming to him in the next year. Let me know what you think. We'll throw your comment up here as well so we can discuss it. Definitely a key piece to the 49ers' hopes and dreams of making the Super Bowl or winning the Super Bowl. They made it last year. He's had 2,000-yard seasons in his last 2 seasons. 2021, he had 826 yards. He's had 25 touchdowns in his career. So, I mean, he's a guy who appears to be getting better each and every year, who Brock Purdy can now trust, has chemistry with. This was an important thing to the 49ers. What I think is interesting, though, if Adam Schefter is right, that this deal has been on the table since August 10th and nothing changed, what was the kind of swaying factor that made him decide to finally take this extension? Adam is claiming that nothing in the deal changed. The money didn't change. The guarantees didn't change. So why now? Is it just because the regular season's coming and he wants to play football? That's a good enough reason for me. I'm fine with that. I just want to know. I'm just curious. Did he decide that 49ers were his best chance to get a Super Bowl ring? And so those trades that may or may not have been on the table, were those not as appealing anymore? Hopefully that comes out in the future, but we don't know yet. We can just guess. But let me know what you think here. We got any comments? Nope, no comments yet. Let me know. I'm curious. Curious what the people think. This is a podcast for the people, so we need the people to speak up. Well, Pretty Ricky 213, who's someone we'd kind of been looking at. He'd been saying Brandon Aiyuk was going to the Pittsburgh Steelers and it was locked in, and now he's saying, "Yep, I was wrong." He's taking it back, which kind of has to now. But if you're watching, let me know what you think. Steelers fans probably a little disappointed who wanted him. kind of hoping that Jamar Chase deal comes through now. Like, I'm hoping Jamar calls up Mike Brown and says, hey, lock it in. You know? Come on. We don't have that right now. We don't have that yet. Just gonna keep an eye on the comments. Let me know what you think. Keep an eye on X as well. Let me know if you have any questions about the deal. If you joined late and I said something already that you didn't hear, and that's cool. We can go back over that as well. Again, I'm just kind of finding out about this at the same time as everyone else. So we're all going to learn together. I'm still stuck on the fact of how front-loaded this is. It's a good deal for him, getting all of his money early on. Now, and I'm also intrigued to see what they end up paying Trent Williams, because let's look up offensive left tackle money, because that's going to be a big thing as well. I think he's probably the best, if not the best, the top 3 left tackle in the NFL. So, okay, so he's already the second highest paid. I believe he's a free agent or coming up. Oh, he's coming up on a deal, but I think he wants a new deal. I think he's been holding out. Could be wrong about that. But either way, his end year is 2026. So they still have a few years left on that contract, but he wants more money. But you're going to have that Brock Purdy. That Brock Purdy one's arguably a bigger extension because he's your quarterback, and what quarterbacks have been getting paid is just absolutely insane. Got Dak Prescott possibly even getting a $60 million a year extension with someone. I mean, Joe Burrow's contract was insane, but he isn't even close to the highest paid quarterback anymore because it happened 2 years ago or a year ago even. So, any more Brandon Aiyuk news? If you have questions, let me know. Let me know in the comments so that we can keep an eye on this situation. I want to do more live streams. I enjoy doing the live streams. They're harder to do because if you don't have an audience, it's just you talking to yourself, which is fine. People sometimes go back and watch it later. I'm going to give this 5 more minutes, unless all of a sudden there's like an influx of people. Okay, come on. Let's talk about something. Give me something to talk about. So yeah, the 2 things that are going to be, I'm going to probably head off here after this, but the 2 things that I'm keeping an eye on now following this. Okay, so now Adam Schefter is saying August 12th. He said 10th before. So Brandon Aiyuk has been sitting on this for about 3 weeks, though. That's what we know. So that's interesting. I'll be interested to see if he does a interview where he says what finally changed his mind. That is something I think San Francisco 49ers fans will be interested to hear. I'm also interested to see how this affects Jamar Chase's contract. Hopefully, we get that done before week 1. No reason to really sit on that anymore. And I'm also interested to see uh, the front loaded nature of this and how that kind of pans out with who are they planning on extending later on, and do they backload that guy's contract? Presumably Brock Purdy or Christian McCaffrey or Trent Williams, but we will see what happens. I appreciate those of you who did stop in for a little bit. No commenters tonight. That's fine. Just not feeling too chatty. But I'd appreciate it if you subscribed. We'll be keeping an eye on this, like I said. But this is the beginning of the end of the narrative, obviously, now that he has an extension. And Jamar Chase is the next one up. So I'm going to go ahead and head on out. But I'd appreciate it if you could like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, go do something nice for someone.